All right, guys, let's give this a shot. I've been slacking on journaling lately, and I'm going to try this and see if this works a little bit to hold me accountable and keep it interesting. There's a lot of times where I will get into a trade, it'll go against me, I won't do the right thing. I know exactly what I did, but it discourages me from journaling because I don't want to go through like the anguish of knowing that I'm a fucking idiot. So, I'm going to try to make this a consistent thing, at least a couple times a week. Although when I am at the office, which is 2 times a week, it'll be a little bit harder. But let's jump into it. Um, AMRN was a pretty sweet trader today. Um, I definitely minimized after nailing the morning short. I was looking for more downside. I was looking for it to crack. I was looking for something towards 950s, maybe a 9 wash. So the first, I'll just take you through my thought process. Pre-market, I usually don't trade. So this area right here is kind of interesting to me. At the open, we've got this lower high and a crack down. Great, that's awesome. So I want to start in on a pop. I don't want to chase this thing down. This is not a low float. They can, as you can see, they can just squeeze right through you. So I didn't do anything to it. I got maybe half size, and then right here when we breach that area and immediately slap back down, that's probably a good place to add a little something. Especially when you've got. I'm only looking at a 2 minute chart, but you've got this little area in through here that fails. But long story short, I got about a buck. I got short 1186, best cover 977-ish. So I don't touch it again until about 11:30. I'm thinking, we're weak. I'm looking at this level, the 1135-ish area. Great. And I'm seeing, this little area where we're testing, we're testing, we're testing. And I had the right idea, I believe. 1135 did fail. We broke trend, but I think I was a little bit late getting short. I think if I take this on off the bid right here at 1010 risking 1020, 1021, 11 cent risk, and then in through here I'm kind of taking partials off, and then maybe here I'm all out with break even stop. But I didn't do that. So I was a little late getting short and I held it. Um, I had about like a 10 average. I covered up over here at 1020s. Didn't like the way it looked. Just tried again, short, and then covered again. Got short again. Then started, covering a little bit. This was a nice win right here when I got short again, and then we got this big wash in through here. That was nice. But then I started thinking, okay, this is it. It's over. We're below some of these support levels and through here. So I started scaling in, scaled in again, and it just seemed stronger on the tape than I'd like. It went a little bit higher, and it seemed like we were getting ready to squeeze. So I actually went through and started buying dips right here with risk off of like I was looking at 1010s, 1015s right in through there. So I started in short, or I'm sorry, long. Got long in through this 1015, 1020 area. Right here, um, I actually added once we got over VWAP and held. I really liked that because like I think it was 1140 was the previous top, and we were holding that, and that was nice. So I went ahead, doubled up my position, and scaled out. Now I like to do like a short-term trend following, and you could see this morning, we're riding this 2 minute 9 EMA down pretty well. Like it conforms to it pretty well. And we had a long consolidation here. I mean, from the bottom, not from 930 bottom and through here, we are we're consolidating until 2 o'clock. That's some decent consolidation. So when this happens, what I like to do is I like to ride this as long as I can. Um, I don't care if it's trending on the 2 minute, the 5 minute, 15, 60, whatever. I don't care. But I always try to keep some on for this type of move. Like the shit that goes further than you ever think it will. That's what happened today. So I scaled off the last bit. I probably had a like 1035 average, I think. And the I took it off. Best sell was 60 cents, 55 cents, right in through there. And it even if you're holding 100 shares and you just let that thing ride with break even stop. This is why I do this a lot and I get stopped out a lot, but it makes sense because best sell 1090 and look, we're up $1.40 more. So, and we still haven't closed a single time underneath, maybe right here, but quickly reclaim. And so, like moving averages, a lot of people don't like them. They're lagging indicators, but for longs, I like them a lot more because they can, there are algos out there that are buying along a trend. There's a reason why every one of these dips is getting bought up because there's a whale there scooping them up, or the computers are that's what they're doing. They're buying along a certain trend every fucking time. So that was that trade. I actually, you know, um, on the short side, I nailed this morning. I gave a lot back. I ended up plus $10 on the short side because I was pretty stubborn, kept trying and losing. But when I flipped long, that was a good trade. I was up almost $300 on that, and then you could see I didn't touch it again after. So AMD, just I love this stock, but I haven't had the best read on it lately. Um, it's bullish as hell if you look at the daily up here. These days, we're riding this MA and we're above some of these key levels. I mean, it's sold off in this 3240 area. Now, we're up above it. Let's see tomorrow if we can maybe gap up, pull back, hold this area. And also, I guess we're breaking out of a little flag type of daily pattern. It's really held this upper range phenomenally. Like the strength here is insane. On Twitter a while back, I had a price target of like 38, and it's looking like it's going to get there. I don't see why it wouldn't. Um, but yeah, this was just a short scalp. Yeah, I made like no money at all. 58 bucks. So that was it right there. I think it's hard sometimes to trade this stock because it's not clean. There's a lot of noise. But we trapped under VWAP and then just kind of pushed right through. I didn't see a ton of edge there. Maybe if you're using this high day, initial high day as a guide, even then we're over under over under over under. So not an easy trader, but not too bad either. So GBR, this was something that popped up on my scanner, and I tried short. I don't know why the fuck I tried short. It was emotional. I thought it was like a little bit extended on the 5 minute. And also, I was looking at some hourly chart levels in through here, and I liked 190s, 191 as an area. Um, I actually, this was just a dumb fucking trade, but I took it off quick. I think I lost 5 cents on it. Um, you know what? I'm thinking of the wrong goddamn chart. I was thinking of, okay, everything I just explained is GTXI. I'm new. This is my first video. Sorry. Uh, the yeah, the 191 is where I got short and took it off for 4 cents, And then I actually got short again once we got under the 190s and let it. I saw some lower highs, lower highs, lower highs under VWAP, and I took some off 181, 182, or 183 and through there. I didn't make much. Long, short, I made about 69 bucks. Okay. But this is stupid. Like, we're riding the 1 minute. Trend hasn't broken. I need to cut this shit out. It's just not something I should be doing. So, what did I have on there? GBR was something we're on the daily level. I was looking at this area, and the reason I'm looking at that area is because I like to look for high volume. And if you look at the top of this day, we're at 475. I was early, obviously, pretty early, but this was a nice little like on the 2 minute, a nice trender all day, just slowly squeezing out people trying to guess the tops. And guess what? I tried to guess the top, covered nearly dead top because I'm an idiot and it's what I do. But once I saw this, there was like a reload seller here in this 415, 416 area, and off the daily chart, I really did like this level, and then there was this one too at 465s. And it looked like, maybe we were going to get there, but with no consolidation over this 415, 416 area, I really liked it as an area to get short and look for some covers into this 50 MA for like a short term. This is a day one. This isn't something I'm trying to swing or hold on forever. It's just something where I'm looking for a good risk reward. Fortunately, you know, this initial loss right here was starter size. It looks big, but and it was bigger than I wanted it to be. It was probably a $150 loss. But here I got in full size because I loved this. I love seeing that reload seller come in. We could not breach past 416. That's where my risk was, a little bit wider, um, and you know, covered into a wash. And obviously could have stayed, could have re-entered, but day one, I'm not trying to get like super fancy. So that was that. I would love to see this thing in the morning come back and maybe test these levels, but we probably won't get that. This looks like a nice spot in through here, 370s, 360s. And look on the 5 minute, the highest volume push right in through here was the top, and that was followed by a high volume sell-off candle too. So I'm not really great right now at like giving myself 30, 40 cent risk because I want to use size for me. My size is way different than a lot of people, but I'm not getting in there with 2,000 shares at in the 390s with risk on high a day. Like that's just not going to happen. I'm never doing that shit. And even this was iffy, iffy risk reward. I'm in there 390s risking 417. Like that's still not the best trade. It's really not. But I was looking at the tape. I was seeing that reload seller, so I just went with my gut and stuck with the plan. Covered into pretty much this 50, and sometimes what I like to do when you see this 9 EMA trending over the 50 all day, when you get the downward cross through, sometimes you can start using that 50 as a guide as well. So that's something that's kind of interesting. I think if this was day 2, 3, 4, I would be using that as a guide. And these levels, if we come back above and reclaim these levels and grind above, I'm definitely cutting the position off. But that would be a level I would use as a guide. And then let's talk about HUYA. HUYA was pretty nice today. That was a sweet one. This was on the daily. You can see like back in August, we started forming this kind of base here, but we're also, you know, downtrending a lot. And we opened up today as a gap down below these levels. So there's a lot of people underwater from, I don't know if people are still holding on back here, but maybe they said, hey, once we get past these levels, these 25, 2460s, 2450s, I'm selling this shit. So the idea was to get short based off of these levels. I gave it some time. I really loved this kind of like head and shoulder pattern you see here, shoulder, head, and shoulder. And then once, I anticipated a little bit. I didn't wait for the full trend break initially, but I think I was using like this right here. So I got in. I actually wanted higher to add back in for more size based off of like this kind of level. But we broke, and it was a nice trade. I got like pretty much 24s, and best cover was 2340s, so nice 60 center. Had a decent position there, and then I was using um, this low a day as a guide as well. So you see, I cover some below, at it, another one at it, and then in case we do like a pull below reclaim, which it tried to there, but and then grind up. That's what I'm always afraid of. And then I was holding small. I was holding like a after this cover, I had about 200. Right in through here when we retested this previous support, and it looked like it was turning into resistance. I went ahead and got back to my original size, and could have been more patient and held it off for another retest of this low, which would have been fantastic. That would have been a massive, massive win. But this was like a $500 trade. Like this was good. I was happy with it. Um, this last cover, I believe I was trying to set my stop at break even, and I just fucked that up. So I actually ended up covering all of it in through here. But great trade. Now the trade today that pisses me off beyond belief, and this is why I'm journaling, is Facebook. So um, my thought process going into this was a little muddy. I was emotional and I started trading it first thing in the morning around a core. I'm like shorting, covering, short, 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 cover, short, cover. And then, I'm down a lot because I'm not covering every one of these. Like I'm adding to a position, and I was initially looking at what was I looking at? I was looking at like something back here. I was looking for this area like red to green pretty much to start acting as a top. So I thought the thought process was we're going up and we're going to stuff red green. It's going to be a red green fail. We had this big red day on Friday, and I just got back from a cruise. I didn't really get to catch a lot of the action, and when I'm not watching a stock for multiple days, it's easy for me to um, not be in sync with it, not know what it's capable of. It's just these are kind of like my worst trades is when I'm looking at it day one for me, and my plan sucks. So, you know, red green, I got stubborn. I just fucked up all across the board. There's really no reason I should have still been in this trade. There's no reason I should have been adding to a losing position without it being a part of my plan. And I think I was just trying to make the trade work, and it did not. So this one actually ended up being a $400 loss. So thank God for HUYA because otherwise it would have been like a break even day. Instead, it was about a plus 600 day. Um, this stop out here, great, great job, but I just shouldn't have been in it with the size that I had in the first place. It's just stupid. We're going red green. We're barely pulling back at all. We're consolidating in upper ranges. We're above VWAP. We are like, I mean, every time frame I look at tells me I should not be doing this. Look, we got the hourly went up. We actually reclaimed this 50 moving average, held as support. Um, and the daily, now we're back above this 9 EMA. It's just dumb trade all around. I'm glad I cut it. Could have been worse, could have kept fighting it, but that's the way it goes. Nothing else of note. I had a trade on MU. It was based off of the previous day's highs. Should have been more patient with it. It was actually a great trade. Um, Probably should have came back to it. I think I ran out of screen space. It got a little crazy in the day. There was like OGEN running. IGC started doing some funky shit. Um, SAEX. So I started like just pulling up every chart looking for stuff. And really, if I short pops along the previous day's high, I mentioned that I like to use higher volume areas. The 60-minute right here, we've got a top of a high of 45.60. So that's an area of interest for me on both the downside and the upside. And look what we got. We got a nice push up to that area fail. This one I think was a nice, some of these bigger names don't trend as well. I think right now we're probably still in like a consolidation phase. So, but yeah, if you just, long story short, you take your area of interest, you get in there, failure, cover some, cover the rest. I missed this cover because, like I said, I was all over the place. We're back here until it proves that it's going to come up above, hold, consolidate, use this as new support. Why not, use another half size and keep covering, adding on pops, covering. That would have been a good idea. But that's my first video, guys. I am looking forward to doing more. Give me some feedback. Um, and I hope you have a great day.